Everybody, I'm excited today. How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? This is Andrew E. Guy. Today I want to talk to you. I want to give you some strategies how you can impact your work life. If you're joining me for the first time, my name is Andrew E. Guy. I'm a work life enrichment coaching. I'm strategist, consultant, and my goal in life is to work with those high performance individuals to help them build clarity and meaning from what they do so they can build a radically resilient work life. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about some strategies that you can use to impact your work life. Now, people ask me, they said, Andrew, so why work life? You know, everyone's talking about work life balance. Why aren't you not talking about work life balance? Because work life balance, there's no such thing. When I talk to them about balance, it's almost like walking on a tightrope. You know, I'm using my eyeglass container here as an example. It's like walking on a tightrope. You're really trying to balance everything. You're really trying to balance. And so you may put a little bit more effort on this side and it causes the other side to go down. You put a little bit more effort on this side, it causes the other side to go down. So when I think about it, I just look at work-life balance as just like a bunch of papers. I just throw them out. Okay, there's no such thing as the work-life balance because the work-life balance is going to cause you to run into burnout, stress, anxiety, and compassion fatigue. I'm going to talk about those a little later. And that's what most people are developing. They think that they're in a balance. They think that they're experiencing work-life balance, but they're really not. What they're doing, they're just in a burnout mindset where they're just trying to, it's almost like a whole bunch of their ceiling is leaking and they're just taking their finger with chewing gum and sticking it trying to plug up the holes. It never works. And so I want to give you a better, a more practical way of fixing your work life. Now, when we talk about work life, there's a program that we're releasing in the next couple of weeks, and it's called Building a Radical Resilient Work Life. Okay, website is coming up soon, so we're going to be launching that in a few, and then we'll have more details for you. All right, but for now, here are some of the things that you can expect when you become a member to our website. So let's talk a little bit about this. Okay. Before I start, I want to ask you this question. Can you see this right here? Can you see that? Can you see that? Fantastic. All right. So when you look at that right there, it says, what would you do or what would you say to teach this lesson to your friend? I want you to be able to take this information and use it to empower your team. If you're a person that's in leadership setting, if you are over a team, I want you to take this and I want you to teach it back to your team. So I want you to come up with some strategic question that you can ask your team. Number one, the number one question that I want you to ask is, are you fulfilled with the job that you're doing? Take a moment and let that sit. Let's let it set in for a minute. Ask your team, ask yourself, are you satisfied? Are you fulfilled with the role that you play in your job? Think about that for a minute. And I want to know exactly what you feel. You can go ahead and put something in the comment. You can just tell me, what is it that keeps you coming back? That would be question number two, by the way. First one is, do you feel fulfilled? Are you fulfilled with your job coming here? Good. All right. The next thing I want you to think about is, what keeps you coming back? I don't want you to think about the bills that you have to pay. I don't want you to think about the other external financial responsibilities. I don't want you to think about that. I want you to solely think about what keeps you coming back to this job. Whether you were there for a year, 2 years, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, even 40 plus years. What keeps you coming back? Write something down. What keeps you coming back? Good. The next thing I want you to think about is, when you are interacting with your group, when you're asking your group these questions, you want to ask them another question. What if those things were taken away from you? Would you still keep coming back? The question, if those things that kept you coming were taken away, would you still keep coming back? Write that down. So I want you to write down at least three things that keeps you there. Three things that keep you on the job. Three things that keep you coming back. Three things that bring meaning to you when you perform your job. And if all of those were taken away, would you still be at the job? Okay. All right. Next. The next question is this. If you were to rate your job from 0 to 10 on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 meaning I'm on the edge, I'm not feeling it right there. 10 mean I'm ecstatic, I'm excited, I am pumped, I'm feeling amazing, rewarded. That's what 10 is. Where are you on the scale? On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 meaning I'm fantastic, I'm ecstatic, love my job, wow, versus 0 where I'm not satisfied, I wish I could quit today. Where would you find yourself on the scale? Write that down. Okay, so those are the 5 things we want to focus on today. When we talk about work-life balance, as I mentioned to you before, it's a gamble. There is never a balance. There is never an equilibrium. You're always out here on the edge trying to balance life and work, and you never get a chance to live. Let me say it again. With work-life balance, the reason why work-life balance does not work is because you're always on the edge trying to balance work and life, and you never get a chance to live. In the center is your living. It's your core. It's why you do what you do. That's living. There are a lot of people today who are alive and they're in the ICU, but they're not living. They're just there. They're laying on the bed waiting to die. My question is that you? A lot of people who are actually waiting to die are not found in the ICU. They're found in your workplace. They're found in your job. They have on the nice suit, the Chris Armani suit. They have on the nicely pressed dress. They got on the nice stilettos. They got on the latest brand, the latest fashion, and they show up every single day, but they're dying from inside. You know why they're dying? Not fulfilled. Don't know why they keep coming back. Yes, the pay is good, but if one thing ever go wrong, I am out the door. Or if this thing is taken away from me, I'm out the door. Those are the things. It is so fickle. It is so shifty. There's nothing tangible holding them there. And so what we do have are people that are going through the motion. They're going to work, but they're not working out on the inside. You gotta work inside first before you show at work. And so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to give you some strategies to help you to change that mindset to make work more fun again. I want to start off with a question. If you were not working now, what would you be doing? If you weren't working, there's nothing wrong with you. You do not have any ailment or anything like that. If you were not working, what would you do right now? What would you be doing right now? Write that down for me. I'm always asking you to write something because, I'm a teacher also, right? I'm in the classroom. I'm an educator. So when I tell people to write things down, is because I want to know that you're fully engaged. And I realize that people who are not fully engaged because they're not writing, I want to let you know that if it's not worth writing down, then it's not worth listening to. If you're not taking notes, then it's not important to you. The reason why we take notes so we can go back and we can look back and we can reflect on our thoughts, because there's so much information coming at you. If you don't write down the things that kind of stick out, then you won't be able to go back and reflect on something to make some meaning from it. Make the connection. All right, so that's what I want you to do as we go through this. Something stick out, write it down. When you think of what you've been doing for the past 5 or 10 years, trying to balance this work life, remember we said you're balancing two things. There is one here on one side and the other thing on the other side. One is work and one is life. Inside is living. The middle part is living, right? Normally I'll have a PowerPoint, but I want to talk to you. Okay, I don't want to sit up with a PowerPoint. I really want to talk to you today. I want to talk to you, the entrepreneur that's burning the candles that burn both ends. I want to talk to you, the CEO who is running a particular region. I want to talk to you, the region manager. I want to talk to you that have people working under you, but you're so burnt out up here. Every time they see you, they see stress. They feel your stress. Every time you walk in the room, everything changes, not for good, but for worse, because you are wearing your stress. You don't know how to handle, how to compartmentalize the stress that you're feeling. When you show up at work, you're just doing it because it's a job, because it puts money in your account. You're not showing up because you have a better reason for showing up. You're not showing up because when you do show up, you bring change. You're a life sustainer. You're a fertilizer to your team that are there working. When you show up, you bring hope. You see, these are the things that bring you back to work again and again and again, because it's no longer a job, it's a function. If you just have a job, you can find that anywhere. But when you have a particular function, you're committed to the function. You want to make sure that if you don't show up, hey, that thing doesn't happen. You can look at yourself as a car and you are the tire. One tire. Doesn't matter which one. Pick any one. If that tire is not on the car, we're not going anywhere. We can't roll. You can look at the most expensive car out there. Flashy. Whatever. Find it. Name it. If there's no engine in there, it's not going anywhere. And you want to think of yourself like that in the workplace. Like you make things happen. When you show up, things happen. If you don't show up, it doesn't mean everything stops. But the thing, what I'm trying to get you to understand, your role in that workplace is so significant. They are afraid to not think about you. They're afraid to think of the possibility that you're not going to be there. That's what I want you to understand. And so here is where the rubber meets the road. Your living is your ability to validate the life that you are given. Remember, we're saying that we're balancing work and life, but in the middle, the core is living. It is your contribution to showing up on earth. It's your contribution that long after you're gone, people remember your contribution that, oh my gosh, Steve Jobs was here. It's your contribution that long after Microsoft founder Bill Gates has passed on or moved on, is his contribution that he was here. Is Elon Musk's contribution that when he's gone long after, Tesla is here. You're leaving footprints. So when you show up to work, that's exactly what you're doing. And so you cannot take work lightly. That's why you can't balance work. What you need to do is enrich your work. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that. Look at my case. Now, what does this remind you of? Reminds you of a sub, right? That's right. That's exactly where we're going to go. I want you to think of work, your work life, not as a balance. Let's throw it out, put a big X on the screen. No more work-life balance. It doesn't work. It causes frustration, causes burnout, because you're only standing on one edge trying to balance the other thing. And as you run to the other end, trying to bring the other end up, then you have to go down again. You're never settled, never settled. Like my favorite speaker of all time once says, Zig Ziglar, that's the reason why we're always under stress, because we're always traveling. We're never settled. When we're at work, we're thinking we should be at home. When we're at home, we think we should be on vacation. When we're on vacation, we think we had so much work to do that we're remembering now when we go back to work, we have all that stuff on our desk that we got to finish. We're never settled. And so the purpose of me talking to you today is to help you to understand how to be settled. And the strategy I'm going to show you is inside here. Okay? Imagine this was the sub. The sub is life. Think about it. I'm going to ask you a question. Think about your favorite dressing that you put on your sub. If this were a sub and I give you a bun, what the meat's already on there, or you could even change the meat, what would you put on your bun? What would you put on your bun? Go ahead, dress it up. I'll give you a few seconds to dress it up. You can put lettuce, you can put tomato, you can put the greens, you can put whatever you want on there. Whatever you want on your bun, it's open. It's open. Like life, it's open. Dress it up. Good. I see one guy over there. He's putting some lettuce. He's putting some tomatoes. Good. He just closes up. He's finished. He's dressed. Okay, another guy, he's still open. All right, okay. He has lettuce. I see he has tomato. Oh, he has some relish. Okay. He has some ketchup. Okay. He closes up. Fine, he's done. All right. Whoa, there's another guy over there on your left side. Oh, it's a okay, all right. He looks like he's a bodybuilder. He has lettuce, he has tomato, he has pickle, he has mustard, has relish. Oh my gosh. He has horseradish. Oh, okay, wait a minute. And he has a little bit of barbecue sauce and he just closed this up. What am I trying to get at? Everyone has the same life. The gift of life is what you put inside your life that makes it living. That's what enriches you. It's the same thing with work. Everyone has a job. It's how you see your work. It's almost like the Lion King. How do you see yourself in this circle of life, but of living? Okay? Because it's the living that makes a difference. If everyone has life, the gift is what you do with your gift that makes the difference. Okay, so if you imagine this as a sub bun, right? Submarine, Mr. Sub, you whatever you want to call it, right? But this is your life. Everyone has one, and it's open. What you put on it is what enriches you. That makes the living worth living. Here's what's happening. So if you put lettuce, tomato, whatever dressing you put on this, and you close it, what do you do after you've dressed up your sub? What do you do? Tell me what you do. If you're following me, tell me what you do. What do you do? By the way, if you have not subscribed to my channel, my name is Andrew E. Guy. I'm a work-life enrichment coaching consultant, and I help high-performance professionals to do what? What do I help them to do? This is the most important thing. I help them to gain clarity so they can find meaning in what they do, so they can build a radically resilient work life. Okay? Go check me out. Go subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get videos every time I come live or when I post videos. My entire focus now moving forward is work life. Is what do you do with your work? What do you do with your life? Because you're going to be working for the rest of your life, either for yourself or for someone. You got to make it radical. You have to be resilient. All right? So let's get back. You've already dressed up your sub. What do most people do when they dress up their sub? What do they do? You tell me. Bingo. They dressed it up so they can bite into it, so they can eat it. They're preparing a meal. That's what I want you to understand. And the different dressing that you put on your sub is your enrichment for your life. Some people have on their bun or in their life, they got a little bit of cardiovascular training in the morning. They got a little bit of weightlifting, strengthening in the morning. They got a little bit endurance in the morning, training in the morning. Some have a little bit of meditation in the morning. Some people have a little bit of audio book listening in the morning. Some people have a little bit of reading in the morning. Some people have a little meditation in the morning. Some people get up and pray to their God in the morning. Some people will sit down and reflect on the day before. Some people will create a to-do list. Are you getting what I'm saying right here? That's exactly what's happening. That's the enrichment part. If life is the bun, what you put on it determines the taste of life. When you dress your bun and you bite into it, when you bite into your bun, what happens? Your taste bud will tell you, or they will either celebrate or cause you to spit out what you put in your mouth, right? It's the taste of life that makes you want to keep on living. Think about that. If you're working on a job and you don't feel loved, you don't feel welcome, don't feel appreciated, don't feel engaged, don't feel included in the decision making, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. You're not going to want to show up anymore. You're not going to want to congregate. You're not going to want to talk to it. You're going to feel like a recluse. You want to feel like you want to get into your own little corner, or you want to get in your own little cubicle. You want to do your little job with your little expectation and get back into your little car and drive home on your little road and go back to your little home with your little thinking because you don't see the big picture. The bigger picture is, what role do you play in the grand scheme of things? Remember, how you dress up your bun is the enrichment part of it. It determines how the taste of the bite is experienced. It's the same thing with your work life. That's why you can't balance it. You have to enrich it. You got to make sure you put the right things inside, in between that bun of life. So when you close it and take a bite of it, then you say, wow, I am so glad that I'm alive. Because one thing the dead does not get to do, I'm doing right now. It doesn't matter how most famous they are, be they male or female, who have come and gone before you. I don't care who they are. They're dead. Their time is up. And they don't get to do what you're doing right now. You think about it. Whatever you're doing, the dead don't get to do it. This should be one thought that comes to your mind. They don't get to do it. I don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything in life. You get to do it. You get to do it. Getting to do it means you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity. And so when I work with professionals, I help them understand, what is it that I ask them, what do you get to do that nobody else don't get to do? What do you get to do that you don't have to do? What do you get to stay that you don't have to stay? What do you get to eat that you don't have to eat? Who do you get to talk to that you don't have to talk to? What kind of title do you get to have that you don't have to have? Now the conversation really begins. And then you realize it's an opportunity that you have that not everyone else has. When we talk about work-life enrichment, if life is the bun, what are you putting on your bun? Right? Remember, we're going to wrap this little part up now. We're going to the next segment because I'm a teacher. I like to make sure we break down the details. You close your bun, you bite into it, you start tasting the salt, you start tasting the flavor, and all of these digestive juices in your mouth start flooding your mouth. And like, oh my goodness, you keep on chewing and it's feeling good. And guess what? What do you do? 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 You bite that thing again because it tastes so good. Let me get another bite of that thing. Wow. You remember I asked you earlier on what keeps you coming back? It's the bite. Yeah. It's the bite that keeps you coming back. Because when you bite into your work and you feel that resounding fulfillment, that enrichment, you want to come back because you bite onto something that was amazing, something that was great, something that fulfills you, something that motivates you, something that makes you feel like, oh my God, I feel so encouraged because I'm working with a great group of individuals that I call team. And outside of that, I call them family. That's what makes you keep on showing up. If you don't have that in your workplace, reach out to me at andrewguyspeaks.com and I can show you how to build a culture of home away from home. When you have the culture, it's like having the broth to making great soup. And when you make that great soup and you taste the soup, you're like, wow, I want to taste it again. So just what I'm trying to get you to understand, it's the bite that keeps you coming back. It is not the fight. It's the bite that keeps you coming back to work. It is not the fight. And what am I talking about, the fight? The fight is fighting off the traffic so you can sit in traffic for however long or sit on the train or the commute. You fight off the commute. You fight off the laziness. You fight off that complacency. It's not the fight that keeps you coming back to work. It's the bite, ladies and gentlemen. I'm asking you, What are you biting on at work? What are you biting on? Are you biting on hope, happiness that overcomes pain and error? Happiness is an internal job. Hope, man, it can only get better. Overcome, it means that there's a chance that, you know what, you're going to have to go through some tough stuff, but you're going to get out of this. Pain, you're going to feel pain, whether you're causing it to yourself or somebody else inflicting on you. You will feel pain. Error, you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. You will fail. You got to learn from them. So it's not the fight that keeps you in your job. It's the bite that keeps you in your job. That's what keeps you coming back, because you bit on something, and just like that sub, when you bite on it, man, it feels so good. So good. And you want to bite it again. And you want to keep on biting it until there's no more. And you know what's happening? You may finish that sub. You might think, you know what, man, I need to get another one. I'm on my way home. I need something to crunch on. That's exactly what keeps you coming back. If you find these things in a job, something that fulfills you, it makes you keep coming back. Right? It's not the fight of getting to work. It's the bite that keeps you coming back to your work. Does that make sense? All right. Now, we're going to talk about some things that you can put on your life so you can make it work, so you can have a radically resilient work life. We talked earlier on about what you put on your sub, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Talk about the dressing, we talk about the greenery, we talk about the meat kind, we talk about, the relish, we talk about, the condiments, we talk about, your ketchup, we talk about your mustard, we talk about your relish, we didn't even talk about mayo, but some people put mayo on their sub. Are you one of those people? Okay, could be one of them. But I want to talk to you, I want to make it more practical and meaningful. If this is your life, we're going to use the metaphor. We use the dressings as metaphor, by the way. So we're going to talk about the practical things that you need to put on your dressing, that you need to put on your sub, that you need to put on your life. That's what we're going to talk about right now. In your job, I'm going to layer it, the first one down. Do you see it as an environment that is conducive to growth? Answer that. Write it down. Write it down. When you write down these 5 things, do you see your job as an environment that is conducive to growth and development? No, growth is not the same as development. They always throw them together, like growth and development. Growth and development, right? Growth is an increase. Development is the building process, right? Development is the investment. So it should be development that leads to growth. That's how it should be worded. Development should be where is your company sending you to get professional development? Are they helping you to train? Did they notice something unique about you that they can build on? That's the developmental part. Because if you don't develop a thing, it won't grow. So are they putting fertilizer at your feet? Consider yourself a plant. Are they putting fertilizer at your feet of your plant so you can grow up and out and within? Growing up, meaning that there is levels that you're reaching. Growing out, meaning that you have influence. The out part is your influence, the wide, your reach. That's the trunk of the tree. You need to have a larger trunk every time you go up, because then it's going to sustain the tree. Because if you only grow up, the people who only grow up on the totem pole trying to get to the next level, when the pressures come and it pushes against that tree, it's going to snap. Because you don't have enough influence. You don't have enough support in your trunk to keep you sustained going up. You want to grow up, you want to grow out, you want to grow within. Let me break all that down for you. When you are growing up, you're building relationships. You're not just building relationships, but what you're also doing, you're also finding out what you like best. You're also trying to find out what are some of those things that are helping you? Listen, I got to take a break here for a minute. I'll be right back. So be looking at my ceiling for a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, young man, I am on the line. Hey, I'm on the line, so come here quickly. All right. So I had to run to answer my door there for a little bit. And so I'm back. Okay, so let's rock this out. Let's continue to rock this out. So when we talk about this work life stuff, we really want to help you to understand that there's a strategy to make sure that you're showing up for the right reason. There's a strategy to help you to make sure that you're enriching your life. And there's a strategy to help you to grow up, to grow out, and grow within. So when we talk about growing up, we're talking about, reaching levels. There need to be levels like a step. There's going to be step one, step two, step three, and so forth. We're growing up. But we also got to grow out. Remember, up is just achievement. Write that down. Up is achievement. When we talk about growing out, it's talking about your influence. So you got to achieve and you got to influence. Because if you only achieve and you don't have the influence on what you have, you'll just be a person in a suit or a dress that has no rapport with everyone that's in your workplace. They'll see you, they'll say hi to you, they'll be nice to you, but I guarantee they don't respect you. Because all they see is you going up, going up, going up, but you're not connected with anyone. Those are the people that get up there and fall fast. Because when the pressures come, there's nobody there to actually help. There's no one there to support you. You got up, but you didn't build out. So you need to have a big trunk so you can have influence. And those influence are those people that you work with. Those people that you share your expertise with. Those are those people that you meet with, have a coffee with. Participate in a company activity with. Those are the people. So we're talking still about what you put on your bun, your life. So you don't have to be running back and forth trying to play the teeter-totter game. Does that make sense? So as we look into this, we're talking about growing up, growing out, growing within. Growing up is achievement. Does that make sense? Growing out is influence. Growing within. Growing within is nurture. Write that down. Up, achievement. Out, influence. In, nurture. Nurture would look like the tree. It has a trunk, then it has the roots. The purpose of the roots is for it to travel and go out into the soil. And what's the main reason for the roots doing that, by the way? So they can bring back nutrients to the trunk. Nutrients to the trunk. So the roots, they collect all of the actual nutrients from around the water, and it brings back the water to the trunk of the tree so it can feed the tree, and that water go way up the trunk and out to create that process. So growing up is achievement, growing out is influence, and then growing from within is nurture. How do you do that? You need to make sure that your company is investing in your professional development. When they invest in your professional development, then guess what happens? When you develop, you grow. You grow up, you grow out, and you grow within. Okay? So that's number one thing that you need to ask yourself. Is my company providing for me an environment that is conducive to growth? Remember, we said growth has three prongs. You grow up, you grow out, and you grow within. Growing up is achievement. Growing out is influence. Growing within is nurture. Now, we're going to talk about the nurture part. The nurture part of growing within is, do I have the right self-esteem? Is there a self-esteem program? Is there a speaker? Is there a trainer like Andrew E. Guy could come in and talk to you about the mental ramifications of not having the right self-esteem, having poor self-esteem, not having the right self-image? How about dealing with doubt, self-doubt? Do you have a person that can come in and talk to you about your skills, your gifts, your aspirations, and how to take those and tie them into the work that you do for the life that you were given while you were living? Remember, go back. We saying here, there's no work-life balance. There's work-life enrichment. And I gave you the growth process that comes in 3. Growing up is achievement. Growing out is called influence. And growing within is nurture. Here is the problem. There are a lot of people that are growing up, not growing out. A lot of people are growing out. They have all the connection, but they're not advancing. They're not advancing. And there are people that growing out, growing up, not growing within. They do not feel nourished. They do not feel like they belong. Whenever you have a person that feels nostalgic, when you have a person that doesn't feel like they're part of a team, they lack nourishment and they are malnourished. And any worker or employee that's malnourished will feel disenfranchised. They will not feel like they're part of the group. They feel starved. So this is why this is so key. When we talk about building a radically resilient work life, these are the minutiae that we deal with, and we take it apart, and we find out, and we diagnose and ask these questions. As the diagnostic question, are you feeling loved? Are you feeling support? Are you feeling growth? Are you feeling development? Are you being enriched on your job? Because if not, the question is, what keeps you coming back? What keeps you coming back? If you don't have a reason to come back, you only coming back because you're getting paid. And after a while, you're going to be miserable. You're going to make those people around you miserable. And then you won't have any influence. Or you will have influence, but it'll be the wrong influence. Instead of friends, you gain enemies. Or you can't work together on a project. You don't see yourself as 4 finger, 1 thumb, 5 phalanges. You see yourself as one sticking out index pointing to where, how fast do I get out of here? That's what comes to you. For most people, it's the money. It's the money. It's the money. I only show up for the money. That's what they show up for, the money. Can you see that? They only show up for the money. Not for the memories. Not for the meaning. They show up for the money. And here's what's happening. When the money is gone, when the money is gone, there is no more need for them to show up to create memories, because nothing has meaning to them anymore. That's when work becomes, like King Solomon says, vanity, vanity, vanity. You know, the great King Solomon was the wisest man. That's what the Bible says. But this guy built everything, did everything he wanted to do, had many wives, many concubines. He had everything. And at the end of his days, he said, life is meaningless. It's vanity. I'm chasing after things. I wonder if that's you. I wonder if you're just chasing things and not chasing meaning. I wonder if things are chasing you and you're running away trying to find yourself. I wonder if that's why you're not satisfied with your work, because the job, you see it as a chore. Let's recap. I know I hit you where it hurts right there. That's okay. That's my job. That's what I do. There are many tubers out there. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. Whether I'm educating you via my writing, this is one of my book here, Work Your Words, Find Your Pathway to Personal Success. Go to andrewguyspeaks.com and pick this book up, and it will help you to find your pathway to personal success. Here's my other book right here. If you're having issues with your spirituality and just don't know if there's a God, you want to read this book here. You want to find out how to find out your role or your purpose in the circle of living, not life, living. You want to read this book, The Anatomy of the Kingdom and the Power of Community. You can get these books on andrewguyspeaks.com. Get over there and get those books, get you some information so you can start making some informed decisions. Okay? Let's quickly recap. We're going to wrap up right now. Remember, we said if life is your bun and it was a sub, right? The reason why we use sub, because sub is going to go under, like a submarine. You're going to be under a lot of pressure. That's why we use sub. A lot of what I talk about is metaphorical. I use metaphors to help jog your memory so we can help you to think deeper instead of giving you surface stuff. You know, little what would they call it? Sound bites. I want you to go deeper. When we get on, that's why you want to subscribe to me, because I'm bringing you meat. I'm bringing you value. I'm not here for the hype. You go check all my videos out. A whole bunch of stuff that's out there. I have over 400 videos and not many watch time because people just want the fluff. People don't want to be taught anymore. They just want the surface. They just want the hype. They don't want the training. They just want the highlight reel. They don't want to see what the true NBA players or the GOATs of life are doing. They only want the highlights. They want to see the fadeaway. They don't want to see the slam dunk. They don't want to see how many squats. They don't want to see how many push-ups. They don't want to see how many wind sprint the person have to do to make sure they stay strong in the game. They don't want to know what that person have to get up in the morning and go run the wind sprints on the beach so they can stay in the game. They don't know what that person is doing for their dietary restriction to make sure that they can remain healthy. They don't know what that person has to do to remain strong psychologically so they can come out and play their best game every day. They don't want to know. They only want the highlights. Is that you today? Do you only want the highlights? Are you only in your job for the money? Are you only in there for the money and not the meaning? That's what I do. That's what I do. That's when you start living a radically resilient work life. You're not just there for the money. You're there for the meaning. But when you get the meaning, before you can get the meaning, you got to have the clarity. Once you get the clarity, the meaning comes. Everything makes sense. Why you're here. That's what I want you to get. Remember, I said we used the sub as an example because the sub will be submerged on the pressure. You're going to be under pressure. There's going to be other things pushing you down, weighting you down. You got to be strong enough, have enough buoyancy to stay afloat even when below you is deeper than the heights are higher. You have to remain buoyant. What keeps you buoyant between the two extremes? Deep down, high up, character is what keeps you there. Skill will get you anywhere. Character is the keeper. Write that down. My skill will get me there, but character is the keeper. We're going to quickly recap right now. We're going to wrap up. Remember, it's a sub. It's going to be submerged because you're going to be under pressure. The pressure is going to be on both sides, all sides. You're going to have pressure from above to get up there because somebody doesn't want you to get up there. You're going to have pressure from below because you don't want to go back down from where you're coming from. You're going to have pressure on the side because the pressure from the side is going to try to knock you off your focus. You see your focus because you're trying to stay focused. You're going in a straight line. That's why you have pressure from both sides. You have pressure from both sides because this side is pushing you that way. No. There's a shiny object over there. Maybe I should go over there. And then, oh, there's another side. Pressure pushing you left, right. You got to stay the course. But here's what's going on. There's another kind of pressure that is coming from the back and it's pushing you forward. Man, it is called purpose. purpose is pushing you from the back and is pulling you from the front. The purpose is pushing you forward. He says, go, go, go. It's your great cheerleader. And the purpose, it attaches itself onto you on the front and it's pulling you. He says, you're almost there. Keep on moving. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Purpose on the back. Keep on going. Don't quit now. Don't quit now. That's what's happening. So the question, are you doing what you're supposed to do on purpose, for purpose? Let that sit with you. Let that sit. Are you getting up every morning on purpose, for purpose? You know that the song, there's a little commercial that said the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. I don't know if you drink coffee anyway, but I want to let you know the best part of waking up is purpose in your cup. Remember, if you got purpose in your cup, you can refill and drink anytime you want. Remember, we use the metaphor of the sub because we know that the sub, there's going to be pressure on all sides. Pressure from above because they don't want you to get up there to compete with them. Pressure from below because you don't want to go back down from where you're coming from. And there's people pulling you back down like a crab in a basket. And then you're going to have pressure from the side trying to knock you off your focus so you don't stay straight and in line with your purpose. Pressure from the other side, distraction. That's what we call those pressure from the side. But there's another pressure that's coming from the back and it's pushing you to go forward. It's pushing you into your destiny. There's another pressure from the front that's pulling you. It says, come on, you're this close. Keep on going. Keep on pushing. You are almost there. There's pressure everywhere. But if you don't have the right thing inside here, you will sink. Your vessel will capsize. The main thing you need to have in your life, character. It's a keeper. You need to have meaning from what you do. Yes, I'm talking to you. You're listening to me right now. You need to take notes. If you're struggling in these areas, you need to reach out to andrewguyspeaks.com. Send me a message. My assistant will get you hooked up so you can get on a call so we can have some of these meaningful talk and conversation to get you back on track so you're not distracted by the pressures coming from the side. Remember, any job that you have, there needs to be three things that are happening. Growth. Growth going up, which is achievement. Growth from the outside, because that's going to be influence. You're widening your territory. Growth from within is called nourishment. Nourishment comes to professional development, training, on-site training, coaching. All of these help you to become your best you. Just like the trunk of the tree. I'm giving you metaphor. I'm giving you meat here. Chew on this stuff. Just like the tree, it sends out the roots. It never just sends out the roots in one direction. Because if you only have one root, when that root gets cut, all your nourishment is gone. That's why you have to diversify how you get your nutrients. Think of my hand as the trunk of the tree, and all of these are the roots, and they're going out to different places, and the roots are different size. Are you catching this? The roots are different size because they don't just bring back nutrients to the trunk of the tree. They anchor you down into the ground. So when the pressures and the winds and the hurricanes and the storm comes, you don't have to get rooted up. You are anchored down, and the thing that anchors you down is your character. It's making sense. That's what I want you to think about. So when you are developing a radically resilient work life, you have to understand the principles and the strategies that it's not about work-life balance. Because life is on one end, work is on one end, living is in the middle. If you keep running from end to end, you're going to try to keep everything afloat, and you are going to be exhausted and burn out and crash and burn because you can't make work work, and you can't make life any better because you can't change it, and you are not living. Did you get that? I hope this session was meat to you. I hope this session you will share it with your team. I hope this session will cause you to reach out to me at andrewguyspeaks.com. Book me to come and speak with your executive team. Book me to come and speak for your onboarding process. You can even work with me one-on-one. Okay, we have a coaching program. It's 3 months, and it's a radical roller coaster. You're going to be challenged. You are going to help others in your group to develop meaning. You are going to get help to find clarity, so you don't just show up for the money, but you show up for the meaning, because the meaning has the memories that you can cherish for a lifetime. My name is Andrew E. Guy. It's been a slice. If you want to work with me, go over to andrewguyspeaks.com and reach out. I would love for you to subscribe because I got tons of information I want to give you. Subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell. So whenever I drop a video, whenever I go live again, you will know. I'm not here to give fluff. I'm here to give you information that's going to enrich your life, that's going to help you to grow up and achieve, grow out and build influence, and grow inside and be nourished from the inside out. It's been a slice. You take care of yourself. You have yourself a fantastic rest of the day. Peace. I'm done. I'll see you later. Peace.